you don't belong here. Everything about you is wrong. Your tongue is wrong. Your vibrato is wrong. Your register is wrong. The world of opera is not for you. I'm staying in an auditorium in front of 60 of my peers on the other side of the world, the city where I grew up, and I'm being torn to bits. I feel like Mr. Potato Head, like all parts of me are just scattered across the stage, and I'm like, I can't find myself. Like and they're telling me that the one thing that I think I know how to do, which is singing, I'm not very good at, and that I should just kind of give up. So ever since I was 13, like the first time I had an opera singer up close, like about where front row is, I've wanted to be an opera singer. I heard that voice and I'm like, what is this thing coming out of this person? Like it's like a force of nature. It's like, how is that coming out of that tiny body? Like it's just mind-blowing. I was like, I want to do that. You know, like not many 13-year-olds say that, you know. I was like, yeah, that thing she's doing, I want to do that. So about the age of 15, I started learning from an opera singer. And by the age of 17, I had applied to all the major programs to singing in Melbourne, and I got into all of them, and I got offered a scholarship. So I did my 4-year bachelor's, and then I followed a master's degree to the other side of the country in Perth. And that's when things kind of changed for me, because I went from being a big fish in a tiny pond where everybody was like, wow, you're amazing, to like being a small fish in a pond that really did not know. And I was this like immigrant kid in this very fancy world where I was really being told all the time that like I don't measure up and I'm not as good as all the other singers. So that's when I cracked and I stopped singing. I couldn't even listen to music, apart from my workout music. And I stopped singing and I just gave up. I was like, well, this is not for me. I'm not meant to be doing this. I want to invite you to the possibility that the voice is a portal to the body and the body is a portal to the voice. And when we unlock that, we actually get access to our life force energy and our inner healer. And it actually gets to the easy. Like the moment we stop listening to our voices and actually allow ourselves to just feel our voices for ourselves, not to please somebody, not to be good at it, but just because it feels fucking good to be in our bodies and to have a voice. Something shifts and it actually gets to be easy. And we get to actually get it into our soma, into our body, that life can be easy when we stop trying to control it and forcing it. You know, that thing that we all know we're really good at doing, that thing. My name is Camila. I was born in Colombia, in Bogota, and I grew up during a time of armed conflict, kidnappings, bombings, and that cultural context really imprinted in my system a deep lack of safety. That was both at a more global context, you know, in the society, but also in my family home, where even though we were privileged and there was a lot of love, there was also a lot of unsafety that was also intergeneration. And as I embarked on my healing journey many years later, in yet another country I moved in, I started to understand that the other side of all of that violence and that trauma that had been inherited through my family lineage, there was a calling, there was an energy that wanted to move through my body, my voice, that came from my mother and her grandparents of healing. And it was looking for a channel. It was looking to be expressed. And so I got to step into that place of reclaiming myself as existing at the intersection of artistry and healing. So 7 years after that tiny the auditorium where I was Mr. Potato Head and couldn't find my face from my ass, I was all over the joint. Yeah, I was like, where am I? Who am I? I couldn't even stand copying. I'm like, hold on, so where's the alignment? Like, I was like, Because everything is wrong with you, right? That's how the classical world goes. So they nitpick at everything. It's intense. So 7 years after that, I just hear this voice. I'm sitting in my apartment, and this voice just goes, "Buy crystal balls," and I'm like, "Oh wait, excuse me. What do you mean?" So I go on Alibaba and I'm like looking this thing up. I'm like, okay, so crystal ball. I'm like, that's expensive. Like, how am I gonna afford this thing? They're like, what am I gonna do with crystal balls? And so, as you guys probably have experienced, when life wants you to do something, it finds a way to make you do the thing. And so randomly the money just pops up, and I get the exact amount of money that I need. So now I have no excuses. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do the thing. I'm gonna get the crystal balls, and I carried them by myself down the street. The gym worked, helped me for that. And when I started playing this crystal balls, something happened that I wasn't expecting really, but Spirit obviously knew, and it's my voice just emerged. And it came through in a way that it never had before. There was like a freedom that 7 years of not singing brought for me, and there was really no turning back from that. And so I shared that with people that I trusted. And as people below us often hear, they're like, "Oh my God, you don't have to share this." And because they were space holders and facilitators, they started inviting me to things, and they're like, "Oh, play here." And before I knew it, 6 months later, I was playing at the biggest conscious festival in Europe. In Sweden, and doing workshops, helping people open their voices. I'm like, but I'm traumatized about my voice. No, you don't need to be traumatized about your voice anymore. We completely changed. And this is also one of the takeaways of this is we can have stories, and if the story has been around for long enough, chances are it's probably no longer true. And that was definitely the case for me. So the penny dropped for me that what I was supposed to do that day when I was sitting there looking at the opera singer, what I wanted was the power of that voice, the power that's cultivated by the tradition of opera. But I wasn't supposed to be using it to jump around the stage in a chorus. That wasn't it, right? And it took me 7 years and many to find where it was supposed to go. And it was for healing, for opening up, for reminding us of what it's like to be in the presence of love. That's it. That's all we can ever transmit. That's all we humans want, is that experience of love. And that's all that I really ever do when in my work, both when I'm doing sound J's and also when I'm transmitting this to people to help them remember that in their own voices. So what I learned is that the way we do see is the way we do life. All of the ways that we control and we hold back, of the ways in which we think there's not enough air, all the ideas around scarcity and around about having a right or a wrong way to do it, all of those things get to come up in singing. And what I've really come to grounding more and more in the past actual few weeks from working with clients is that a free and joyful voice cannot emerge from a contained mouth. that is coiled up like mine was when I was trying to learn singing from all those years of trauma. And also when it's overstuffed with ideas and stories. So the first thing that a voice really needs is to uncoil, is to do the and release some of these stories so that there's enough space for the voice to emerge with the body's own intelligence out of that body and flourish. And remember, just as Mr. Potato Head, remember our own unique song that's living within all of us. So here's what's possible for us and for the world. And it's that singing is actually a way of getting an embodied experience of what a lot of people in Ubud talk about, which is divine union. And it's a meeting of the feminine energies, that watery flow. It's the water in our bodies, which we work a lot with, which is the Seiko energy. All that water, all the heart. And it merges, it marries the masculine, the spaciousness and the direction, the truth. And it's actually allowing us to feel in our own bodies what that feels like. And every time you sing, it's an opportunity to experience divine union, which is what we're all here to do. So how do you get started with all of this? Because this all sounds very theoretical, right? And you're gonna maybe laugh, but this is like one of my favorite things, especially in big groups, like seeing everyone walking around pretending to be a marshmallow. So if it's safe for you to close your eyes and just imagine you being a big, squishy marshmallow. Really, get a little nasty. Let your belly hang. You know, we're always like holding everything. We're like, we're always trying to be skinny and pretty and how about we let the shit hang? We just get a little nasty. Yeah, and like let your asshole hang, let your bits hang, let everything just get a little, can we get a little bit like, and it's not too early in the morning for this. And really imagine yourself as a big squishy marshmallow that's just a move and nice and fluid and whoa. And imagine yourself really expanding and melting into this chair. Letting that tongue hang. And get really nice and squishy and spacious and delicious. Yeah. Take a couple of yawns. Are beautiful. I see some yawns in there, and so just want to know I'm bringing it by. When I see people yawning, I'm like, yes, nails are nice. And really notice how that feels in your body to just get really nice and squishy and just stop holding and let go. Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. And this is the baseline of singing. This is literally where we start singing from. It's this squishy, expansive void from which truth and artistry and beauty can emerge. It's from the not knowing. It's from the like. Every time I sing, I have no idea what's going to come out of my mouth, even though I've been working with my voice for years. It's that I'm getting to know my voice every single time. I'm like, oh, wow, okay. Like when I did that before, I had no idea. It's like, and this is why it's the ultimate love affair, because it's like, we never know it. It's like, it's an re-meeting of ourselves and our expression every single time we engage with it. And that's what makes it so freaking beautiful and such a lifelong learning. What my wish for the world is that we get to actually decolonize our relationship with the voice. In traditional society, everyone sings, everyone drums, everyone dances. There's no like, oh, but you're good, and we just sit here and watch you. It's like everybody does it. It's like breathing, it's like speaking. And that's what I want to bring back, this curiosity, this play. Like when I finally started to play with my voice, that's when things started to heal so quickly, because that's how we create new neural pathways, is through play, through curiosity, through not performing and holding. And that's what I really want to bring into the world, is like how we move away from all this holding and controlling and just allowing ourselves to be and get squished and marshmallow and juicy. Thank you so much.